People think being deaf means reaping souls of those soon to die. I'm not sure where that rumor came from. My job is to take those who are already dead, but can't move on. God did an alright job with humans, but to be fair, it was his first attempt at a species with complex cognitive intelligence. He's done a much better job on other models, though it is a shame that he's forgotten about you. Anyway, one of the bigger flaws of you humans was the attachment of the soul to the physical casing. Yeah, your bodies. The Vikings figured this out fairly early on. Burning the physical husk is the only way to truly release a soul. At least, if I'm not wrong to help you. The Persians did well for a time too. Then they forgot. Most of you forgot. Anyway, I said to the frozen Manish, one of the first men to attempt reaching the peak of Everest. That's why I'm here. You are stuck, aren't you? Please, the decade whispered, his sobs making him hard to understand. Release me, please. Please. Manish had made it fairly far up the summit. Then a fall had left him here around 90 years ago. This was particularly unfortunate to die, considering it takes your body hundreds of years to decompose in this climate. And that's if you're lucky enough to be in an area that sees enough wind and temperature variation to expose your corpse. I cut Manish from his body, savoring his screams as I released his soul to the spiritual plane. Unfortunately, having been trapped for near 100 years within a slow decaying cocoon of your own body, is bound to leave some permanent mental scarring. Manish's soul is almost devilly insane. We can't reuse those, so he'll probably just be destroyed. You're welcome, I called out, glad to be of service. Yes, a disastrous oversight with humans. God was quite embarrassed with the outcome, but then again, as I said, this was his first attempt, and you always throw out the first pancake. I sighed for a moment, standing in the snow of the peaks, enjoying the quiet, the peace. You can hear them, you see. That's how I find them. They scream, they whisper, they beg, and as their minds slowly unravel, trapped within the shells of their unburned bodies, the screaming gets louder, more frantic, piercing. That's why I keep to the trenches now. It's quieter here, unlike the cities where these fools have all forgotten. I don't go there anymore. There are too many of them. There's just me. Can't keep up. They buried their dead in massive graveyards, unable to hear their screams. Hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of them, crying, mewling, weeping, howling. They yearn for release, trapped within their slowly decaying flesh, decades upon decades of maddening darkness buried deep underground. And there is only me. Yes, it's a shame that he has forgotten about you. The first few moments were free. Nick was allowed to stand in the doorway, closer to speak, but not to touch. Every time Kat would reach out her hand, Nick pulled back. He knew that if they touched, it would be for the last time, so he wanted to make it count. Okay, the voice said from the crumb spear, that's all. The door closed with a snap, like a hatchet into a stump. Nick stood staring at the polished metal, and then he moved to the large window. It was foggy. He couldn't see a thing through it. But you sure Kat was still on the other side looking out? I'd like to see her, Nick said out loud. You understood the conditions? Came the same voice from the speaker, somewhere in the small, bare room. Nick took a moment to reply. You don't have to do it this way. Of course we do. We didn't have to bring her back in the first place, you know. You understand the conditions? Yes. You agree? Nick put a hand on the clad window. Yes. Then the glass was clear, and you could see Kat sitting on the white, tiled floor. She waved, he waved back. She was speaking, but he couldn't hear her, only tried to read her lips, grasping at words like a falling climber clawing at rocks. Daddy. Nick was sure of that one. He stood, memorizing every detail of her pale face, the freckles around her eyes, so green in the harsh lights, the exact rhythm of her smile, the way. Suddenly Kat was gone. Everything was gone. Nick's world was dark. The speaker clicked to life. Was that enough, or would you like to continue? I'd like to continue, Nick whispered. He heard the door open and stumbled towards it, feeling for the frame. When he found it, Nick sat down just outside. Daddy, Nick smiled. Hey, little bird, how are you? Her small voice in the darkness. I'm scared. Me too, Nick said. But let's talk about better times. Do you remember hiking by the water last spring? They talked for a short while, and then her voice was gone. Nick was alone in the dark and the silence. He moved further into the room. Now Nick could smell her, the fresh linen of her dress, and the faint scent of soil that he tried to ignore. When he kissed her hair, he could taste the artificial strawberry of her favorite shampoo. Kat wrapped her small arms around him, and Nick held her tight, trying to keep that fading moment for as long as he could. Then there was nothing, no sensation at all. Nick's memories burned in the ruin of his body, a candle left in an abandoned house. What remained of Nick danced around that fire. No warmth, no light, but he knew it was there. That was enough. They never trust me at first. Not only am I a stranger, but I am odd to my eyes. They glow like the filtered light of an afternoon sun. Maybe that's why, despite the mistrust, they are drawn to me. My eyes remind them of the day. For now, though, I am an odd stranger, and they huddle away from me, stand relaxed, hands out and open. I want them to see that I'm not afraid, that they can believe my words. We have a generator, we have lights. I'm explaining patiently, once more, can be safe here. I can see they desperately want to believe me. They turn unsure faces to the woman in the center, the leader. She gives me a suspicious glare. And your eyes, are you even human? Or one of them? I sigh. It's always us. But I've learned what to say. Here, honesty is best. I am human. I was born this way. Mutation, evolution, I don't know. All I know is that the world gave me a way to survive in it, and I'm going to use it, and give her a weak smile. It's why they send me out to look for others. Makes sense, she mutters. She finally nods. All right, we'll go with you. Smile and nod back, but stop her when she reaches for her lantern. No, the smell of the oil draws them. Just stay in front of me, in the light of my eyes. You will be safe. Their eyes are wide in their pale, frightened faces. I understand, but they will be less afraid once they see. I open the door and turn my light outside. The darkness retreats, Against the inky backdrop of the world, the light from my eyes seems fiercely bright. A bubble of sunshine in a world that has forgotten daylight. I motion, and they step outside, into that little sanctuary in front of me. Okay, let's go. We begin to walk. We walk for hours. Them in front and me behind, keeping the darkness at bay. The darkness around us is impenetrable, just a harsh line where my light ends, and then nothing more. They were probably completely lost. Turn right. We swing around a building corner that appears briefly before being swallowed by the darkness as we move on. It's only about 5 minutes before the dead end of the valley becomes visible in my safe little circle of light. I close my eyes. The light blinks out and the darkness comes rushing in. The panic comes quickly to screams of pain as the things in the dark descend on them. I turn away, mission accomplished. The things in the dark will leave me alone until they are hungry again, and then they'll send me out to look for others. I feel no guilt. This world gave me a way to survive it, and I'm going to use it. The facility is all I've ever known. A luxurious standard of living is maintained here. Each of us have a large suite, tailored to our own preferences. I often have the walls simulating the deep blue of the ocean. As the waves of warm light shimmer from the ceiling, when I lie in bed and shut my eyes, I imagine myself drifting in the actual ocean, reminiscing of a past that I don't remember. Our health is closely monitored in the facility, with a wide array of meals to choose from, and various physical and mental activities to choose from. Residents are genuinely content. Every week, we are to attend a health checkup, and are given counseling afterwards. And during counseling, advice is given on how we can modify our daily schedules to improve our life. Both health checkups and counseling are offered by people dressed in white. The same white as the pristine walls of the facility. They call themselves doctors. I often ask them about my past, who I was before coming into the facility. But I am always met the same half-hearted smiles, and to change the topic. Residents of the facility range from all ages. Some have been there since childhood, while some don't remember that far back. Some of them have already left the facility after the doctors approved their departure. But I'm special. I am carrying a life inside of me. The doctors call it pregnancy. They'd know, because they induced the condition. They told me it was an honor, that I was contributing to the renewal of mankind, the entire goal of the facility. Or at least, that's what they said the goal is. Today, I am to deliver life that has been placed inside of me. I feel nervous and antsy. The doctors who attend to me notices this. She assures me that it won't hurt at all. The smell does not reach her eyes. She injects a fluid into my body, and before I could protest, I feel myself drifting into a deep slumber. Searing pain wakes me up. I open my eyes and shut them again, immediately because the light is blinding. My entire body is burning, and my lower abdomen feels like it has been torn out. Try to call for help, but only choked heaves come out from my mouth. "Sir, the clone is dying," a woman says in a hushed tone. It's the doctor who injected me with the fluid. No matter. Our clients only want the infants. Is it healthy? A man inquired. Yes, sir. It's been cleaned at the moment. Splendid. Our next client needs a liver urgently. Which clone was produced, sir? Number 3049. Make arrangements to obtain its liver as soon as possible. Understood, sir. As soon as the conversation begins to fade and the impeding darkness washes over me, I only have one thought. Never had he passed after all. I was cursed by Abyzou when I was 15. Abyzou? The demon Abyzou. She's responsible for miscarriages and the deaths of babies. Why do you think you were cursed by Abyzou? Because I was horrible. Because I saw someone crying at the bus stop near the hospital. And she said she was infertile. And I said... The woman looks up shamefully. I was only 15, okay? I said it was just as well because she couldn't pass on her ugliness to any kids anyway. Where does Abyzou come in? Because Abyzou is infertile herself. That's why she kills babies. That night, Abyzou came to me, and she said that I would lose one baby for each of my despicable years. So I knew I had to lose 15 babies before I could have a healthy one. So what'd you do? I started early. I left home and got pregnant at 16. I didn't tell anyone. There's no point. Who's the father? No idea. I had to sleep with random strangers to get pregnant because I couldn't have a relationship. What man gets with a girl whose body will kill off so many children? I tried to go for the quiet, shy ones. Figured I'd be less likely to catch any STDs. Did you ever tell any of them you were pregnant? No, I'd always go to theirs, see, and slip out once they were asleep. They never even knew my real name. How many times have you been pregnant? 15. 15 stillborn children. I'm very good at being pregnant. I never show too much. I don't get morning sickness. We're very close. 3 days each time and I'm good to go again. But it's over now. I'm free. Don't you feel bad for the children? I've come to terms with it. It's worth it. Because now I can have an actual child. I met a great guy, actually. He's going to make a perfect father. Do you know why we're questioning you? Probably something to do with my new busybody neighbor. She made comments about my gardening. I had to give each of my babies a proper burial. It's the least they deserve. We went to your garden and uncovered all 15 graves. The most recent 2 died from suffocation. They had inhaled mud and debris. The other bodies were too decomposed, but we believe it's likely that they also died as a result of being buried. Do you hear them cry? Yes, but I knew it was just Abyzou making the noises to make it harder for me. They weren't alive. Anyway, is that enough questions? I'm going on a date in a couple of hours, and I need to get ready. He's not going to want to have a baby with me looking like this, is he? Unfortunately not. We're charging you 15 counts of infanticide. You'll be far past childbearing age by the time you're released.